Hello everybody and welcome back to another Miss Courtney Olivia video. Today we're going to be discussing what everybody is talking about, the state of the Wizard101 community as of today. Today is February 19th. I am currently recording this at nearly 9:30 p.m. at night, as you guys can see on the screen. And I just wanted to go over some things that are currently happening in the community. If it looks like I'm tired, I'm absolutely exhausted. I just got back from vacation yesterday, and I went ahead and typed up this 7-page document, and I'm going to go over this a little bit and kind of throw my 2 cents on the matter too. So if you guys don't know, in the Wizard101 community right now, there is a lot of unrest towards the devs. And by that, I mean there is a huge divide between the casual PvE fan base or player base versus the more advanced content or combat fan base. And I like to consider myself kind of in the middle of those two. I'm willing to try out the advanced content, but I'm not one to heavily grind through it and spend hours upon hours trying to do it, or just, just grind in general. So I'm kind of in the middle. Like, I'm willing to do it, but not spend so much time on it, which I think the majority of the community is. Or it's honestly probably more casual or average, as in, they just kind of spend time just running around the game and hanging out with friends and not really going into PvP or raids or that kind of advanced content. So I'm gonna go into a little bit of a backstory here. So last week, I think it was Friday, I was on vacation, and I was out with my parents eating dinner, and I came home and I saw this huge uproar of people on Twitter talking about some kind of Wizard101 content creator roundtable. And at first I was very confused, because I didn't get notified of this. Not like I really needed to be anyway. I was on vacation. I couldn't really join. I didn't have my computer really with me. So, but anyway, it was a whole bunch of content creators that are here on YouTube and Twitch, and other areas like TikTok, etc. And they were all getting together, speaking about their concerns with the game, what they're sad that the game is providing to them, and changes and suggestions and such that they would like to see. So, being as how I don't think I have the greatest word choice when I make videos. I think I got worse as I got older. I don't know. But I decided to make a document detailing exactly what the community wanted. Now, the majority of this document has been collected from Twitter. I ended up making a post I think the next day, asking for people on Twitter to type me up a little message, or some people did threads of things they want to see, what they're concerned with, etc. in the game and the community in general. And I had people also DM me on Twitter and DM me on Discord. So I got quite a bit of responses. I got enough to fill 10 pages of concerns and changes and suggestions for the game. So, Spark reached out to me, or I think he reached out to quite a few of us, in the extra credit program and just content creators in general, and asked us to relay to him, like, what the community wants, what they want to see, what their concerns are, etc. So, being as how I think I'm struggling at making videos right now, I thought I would, gather the major wants and needs of the community, which is what I did, and that's where this document came. So, to breathe for a second, it's a lot of information, but a lot of the players had the same concerns and suggestions and such, so I kind of just combined them into, like, paragraphs. And also, this document is public. I will link it in the description of the video, so if you guys want to read it, you can. It's also an ever-evolving document, so I'm constantly adding new things that people have brought up to me. And if you're watching this video and you see something that's not on the document that you want me to add, definitely put a comment down below and I will add it to the document. I did end up sending this to Spark, and the Wizard101 dev Twitter also did see the document, so I don't know if they're going to implement any of this stuff, but I know there is a roundtable with the devs and some content creators, I think Friday this week. I'm not in it, but other content creators are, so good for them. But hopefully they will look at this document, and another content creator also made some like little cliff notes for what the community wants and the content creators want, and sent that off to Spark as well. So hopefully they will look at these, you know, these jumble of words as such, and maybe implement some of these changes. And if they don't implement some of them, that's totally okay. Like, some of these are kind of far-fetched and are a bit out there in terms of what I think the devs will do. But just, you know, being able to put out what the community wants onto a document instead of, you know, Twitter, where a lot of them don't see what they want. And, you know, I want to use my platform to, you know, relay information from the community to the devs themselves. And I've always kind of been all about that in my community-wise. I'm always trying to help the game. I'm always trying to help other players in the game, etc. I've been doing that for, what, 15 plus years now? So I've been around. So I kind of know what the community wants. I kind of know how to reach those hard-to-reach areas in terms of the developers, and trying to bridge the gap, I guess, between both. So anyway, this is the document. It's quite long. I'm not going to really go through all of this because it is quite a bit, but I will kind of just summarize some things in it. But basically, they are tiered in an order that shows the most popular ones. So usually the ones that are, you know, first and second are the ones that I saw a lot of, and a lot of people said the same thing. So we're gonna start with number 1 for changes. I kind of did it, like organized it so that changes, and then we have suggestions, which we have a lot of suggestions, and then concerns down here. So again, if you guys want to read the document yourselves, it is available in the description. But basically, people really want the symbols on the cards themselves to change. They think they're very confusing. Especially with Roshambo and Gambit cards being used now. They suggested a tab out feature. They've also suggested an update to the spellbook as well, because the spellbook is, in the tutorial side of the spellbook is pretty outdated. So they would like to see that updated. Also on the topic of Roshambo, if you guys don't know what Roshambo is, I honestly didn't know what it was until like a month or two ago, because I'm a casual PvE person. I don't dabble in PvP and Gambit, and I've just barely scratched the surface of raids, so I'm not too familiar about it. But I reached out to another content creator and he explained to me what it was, and now it kind of makes sense to me. But if you don't know what it is, it's basically a mechanic in the game that relies on defense mechanisms and attack mechanisms. So like, I don't know, let's say somebody throws up a shield, like you're gonna want to remove that shield and also add a blade to yourself. So there are spells that do that kind of a thing. But the problem that I've saw throughout the majority of these comments was that no one knows how to use it. And there isn't a good explanation on how to use Roshambo, I believe, or Gambit cards. I think the first time we're introduced to it is, at least in my opinion, at least what I saw, was the final boss of Novus. I remember getting to the final boss of Novus and being extremely confused, not knowing what these cards meant, trying to understand what they meant, because, I mean, I know what the little, like, arrow with the face means. That means you. I know what the little shamrock thing means charm, so I know that's a blade, etc. But I didn't know there's like a spiral one. I didn't know what that was. I didn't know if it was like a universal thing. Like, I was very confused about it. And the good news is that fight is not hard, and they give you 30,000 health, and so I just attacked with, like, the normal attacking cards, which I know what those are, because it's, you know, normal PvE. But the Roshambo cards are really, really hard to understand, which also kind of coincides with the number 1 change that people want. But a lot of people really want a tutorial or some kind of system that explains the mechanics behind Roshambo. There's no explanation for it. You're kind of just thrown into it. And a lot of people just don't enjoy that. Like, there's 2 different sides. Some people say we should just remove Roshambo completely, which I've also added to this. I don't think that's gonna happen. So I also threw in that, you know, maybe we should have a tutorial on it explaining how it works. And, you know, maybe if you introduced it a little earlier on before we got to the point where they were introduced into the game, maybe people wouldn't have been so confused and they wouldn't be so upset. Which also leads into the next point, which a lot of people want the Roshambo utility cards to be used for PvE content and not just PvP. Now, there are certain cards, certain Gambit cards that are usable in PvE content, but a lot of them, and the majority of them, can only be used in PvP or raids, or I think like advanced content dungeons or combat dungeons. So like the new Nightmare dungeon or like Medulla dungeon, that's, you know, challenge mode. So they really want it to be able to be used for PvP content, and the fact that we can't use it, how are we gonna learn how it works if we can't use the cards? I mean, it kind of makes sense, right? Like, it almost feels like the devs, not the devs, but just the people behind this mechanic that created this mechanic just thought, oh, hey, like, they'll learn eventually how to do it, yet they want us to be, you know, they want us to slowly move from casual, average PvE play to this more advanced combat play, which I understand. They want us to, you know, evolve, but a lot of people just don't want that, you know, they want the simplistic way of PvE and questing and stuff. So that was a huge discussion, and it's a huge debate among the PvE casual average player base and the PvP tryhard player base. Like, it's very, very mixed. For me personally, I like I said, I don't think removing it altogether is a good idea. I think adding a tutorial earlier on in the game, introducing the mechanic, is a better idea. Just so you don't have players confused and upset. And then also letting us be able to use the cards for PvE content as well, and not just PvP content. And then another solution for this that somebody suggested is to take all the PvP spells and have it under a separate tab in the spells section called Advanced Spells, so a casual player doesn't mistakenly train a PvP spell, because what happens, like, I've done that. Like, I remember I came back to the game, I went to one of my teachers, and I saw all these new spells, and I'm like, oh, wait, I can use these? And so I got really excited, and then I went to, like, I don't know, Quest or something, and I had him in my deck, and I went to use it, and it was grayed out, and I was very confused. And then I saw the little, like, what is it, the little sword cross thing? And I'm going, oh, does that mean it's only for PvP? So I think that's a good suggestion to kind of, I don't know, to bridge the divide, I guess, in that terms. I also noted too, for my own opinion, because I wanted my own opinion in here somewhere, I said I was worried that with Roshambo becoming what I see is a mainline thing, I'm worried that going forward in normal questing, you know, questing through the worlds normally, that Roshambo is going to be, you know, a mainline content added to the game, so no one's going to know how the system works going forward. And if it's going to be in all of the, you know, upcoming worlds, then there needs to be some kind of tutorial that, you know, shows it. So that's what I kind of noted. Other people requested an overhaul of the Arc Mastery system, which I didn't know this was a thing until I started realizing it, but Arc Mastery is, an interesting concept, and it's kind of broken right now. And by broken, I mean not like busted, but I mean like actually broken. And I don't know if the devs intended for this to be a thing. Maybe they did. But currently, if you are teamed up with another friend or another player, if their Arc Mastery rating is higher than yours, they get the Arc Mastery pip and you don't, and you have to wait a couple rounds until you get your Arc Mastery pip. And I feel like for grinding and just normal questing, it's kind of pointless because the grind becomes slower, the players spend less time playing the game, and I feel like removing it would help, you know, casual players spend more time questing and grinding. So I think, I don't really understand that mechanic. Like, I understand that in PvP or something, or like harder content. I think that's very, you know, that's viable, like you can do that, but for just casual questing, I don't know why they did that. I really don't. So that was also a very major want, or a major change that the community wanted. This is another big one. They want to remove the crowns requirement on spellment resets and jewel socketing, especially if they want us to start using more spellements and you know, gaining an insight on how Roshambo works and actually using Roshambo. Having to reset your spellment path costs crowns, and a lot of players don't like that because we're constantly having to swap between the two. And so they suggested either a free one-time option or using a small amount of gold instead of crowns. Some people also want the training point buyback to be free. So interesting suggestions. Very, very good ideas. Now here's the suggestions, which is a huge section. So a lot of people want the drop rates to be increased, and a lot of people also want a pity system. Now apparently there is a pity system in Wallaroo. I don't know where that is, because I've done the Nightmare Dungeon a couple times, and I've gotten nothing that entire dungeon. The first time I got, like, low-level gear, or, like, the not as good gear, and not for my school, and then the second time I ran it, I literally got nothing. So, I think they need to maybe increase that a little bit, and that seems to be what everybody else wants as well. So, I don't know, that's what people want. Then they also suggested a separate queue for PvP that includes Roshambo and Gamma-related cards, and then another queue that bans them completely. I'm not really into PvP, but I wanted to add some PvP stuff in here, because I mean, PvP people are important too. PvP players are also very important to this game. I am not anti-PvP, like, if people want to PvP, they can, it's just not my thing. I did PvP back in First Age and Second Age, and I only did it to get the Commander Robe, aka the wings for the girls, and I said I'm never doing this again, and I stuck to my word and never did it again. I just don't like the environment with PvP. I think it's extremely toxic, and just not my vibe, per se. I like the more lore and questing aspect of the game. But I do feel like the PvP players' opinions are also valid in this, especially since a lot of people feel like PvP is slowly inching into PvE content, which is a whole other thing we can talk about for hours. So that's what some PvP people want. And then the most, I think, this one was huge. Like, in almost every comment I got, somebody suggested this. They want the first arc of the game free. A lot of people think this will bring more players to the game. They think it will draw more players into wanting to continue the storyline, therefore capturing their interest. And we have to think back too. They've had a paywall at the three streets. I think it was Cyclops Avenue, right? Cyclops Alley, whatever it's called. And I always thought that was very odd, because a lot of players I don't feel like they get a good sense of the game just doing that, just going up to Cyclops, Cyclops Lane. I feel, and also there's a ton of content, there's a ton of worlds on the game. I feel like they could totally just make the first arc free. It's only 5 worlds. There's 18 worlds currently, or 19, something around there. So players think that they should just make the first arc free, and I think that's a great idea. I mean, look at it currently. So currently, as of making this video, Wizard City and Krokotopia are free currently. Apparently, from what I've seen and what I've heard, the player base has actually gone up. So I feel like if they make the first arc free, the player base is gonna go up. They're gonna go through the whole first arc and go, oh my god, this game is actually really fun, I want to see what happens next. In the next arc, they're gonna subscribe or get a membership or pay crowns and then continue their journey. So I think that's a great idea. So people want them to drop the paywall, aka make the first arc free. This is another one that people want. They want to be able to re-roll their pet talents on their pets because the cost and time of creating the pet, it's just a lot of time-consuming stuff. They would love the cost of pet hatching to go down, especially since many players have to change their talents after new worlds come out or the meta changes. So that's another one. I don't think that really... I don't know. It's a good suggestion. I don't think I mean, I don't do pets much anymore. Like, I kind of just keep the same pet. But I do need to get back into pets. So that's a really good... I like the reroll option. I think that's really nice. Okay, and then this is one that I actually got feedback from currently about low-level PvP coming back. Apparently they said that's never coming back, so I'm just going to keep it here anyway, because it was also a huge want from the PvP community. They also want the tournaments to come back. And they want, you know, fun rewards to be brought back as well. I actually really enjoyed 2v2, 3v3, and 4v4 PvP. That's actually how I gained my commander robe back in the day. Like, I think I was with Austin? Forgot who it was. I have a video on this channel from way back, where I ended up just duoing with him in PvP, and it was really fun. You know, it's fun doing it with your friends. And I know some people say, oh, well, you can just, you know, do house party PvPs, and that's valid, you can. But some people want the reward from the PvP match, and they completely got rid of tournaments, they completely got rid of the rewards from tournaments, so those players would like those options, and then some also want to bring the commander robes back, which I think they should do that, because they're nice, I like them. This one I really agree with. The side worlds need to make a comeback. Players miss worlds like Grizzleheim, Wisteria, Wintertusk, Crab Alley, etc. And they want more chill PvE events where there's no leaderboard but fun rewards if you participated or completed it. For example, the 4 boxes, lost pages, etc. Or is it the 5 boxes? I never know if it's 4 or 5. I'm horrible. But I agree with this. There hasn't been a side world, I think, since Wintertusk, if I remember correctly. I think Wintertusk was the last side world? Somebody quote me if I'm wrong, but there hasn't been a side world in a really long time, and people really like side worlds. And they want more chill PvE events that don't focus so much on a leaderboard and getting to the top of the standings and stuff like that. They just want more chill stuff, which I totally agree. They also want more customization options, they want more hair options, they want diverse and inclusive names and character creation options, they want more eye color variations, and this one was huge, everybody wants a color wheel, which I think would be cool because the originality and creativity of everybody's outfits and the wands and whatnot, like, I feel like the creativity could just blow up and everybody would have their own identity. I think that's a good idea. Also, people wanted more gender-neutral clothing for characters, and also they want boys to be able to wear pink, which I have not added to this, but I need to add that to this. They also would love it if stitching in 1 or 7 day mounts cost gold instead of crowns, which is not a bad idea either. Gold keys. Apparently they took away the option to farm gold keys. I didn't know this, because I've kind of been away for a bit, but apparently they did. So the community wants them to bring back farming for gold keys. They also suggested for the daily assignments on day 5 that we get a gold key, and to lower the reagent requirements to craft the keys. And then some ways for obtaining the gold keys by farming. You could rematch certain bosses, you can get them through dungeon bosses in Darkmoor, and then maybe side quest bosses. And then players think that when the farming method was removed, it made access to spell elements more difficult and time-consuming, which I agree. Because everybody, like, right now, everybody needs spellaments to be good in the game, you know? Another one, players want to remove level gatekeeping in PvE as it does more harm than good. They think that, a lot of the gear is gatekeeped, and spells are gatekeeped behind events, and there should be an optional method to obtain spellaments, but there should be farming spots for them as well. They want more shared bank space, as well as a separate seed pouch in the backpacks. We want shareable gold between our wizards on the same account, more backpack space, housing space, etc. Possible item trading between players. I've actually suggested this like years ago. I don't think that's ever gonna happen, but it might. I don't know. I mean, World of Warcraft has it. And then have the option to unlearn certain recipes. They want more crown sales. And then also another suggestion that I got from my Twitch stream the other night was to add a suggestions button GUI into the live game, just as it's in test realm. You know, that little like bug thing in the corner, you just click it and then you can like type what you want to see in the game. Because some people don't have Discord and they remove the forums, so the only way to contact the devs pretty much is either through Twitter or Discord, but if you don't have those, there's no real way to reach out to the community or in the devs. So that was also suggested. So onto the concerns. I mean, I kind of already explained the Roshambo stuff. You guys can just read this if you'd like. Some people think there's not enough moderation in the game, and some players are requesting that you recruit more hall monitors and add more inappropriate words to the chat filter. Guys, I have spent many hours in the commons, and for some reason, I don't know if it's just late at night, but every time I'm on the commons late at night, there are some really spicy stuff going down. And unfortunately, with me having the content creator extra credit badge, they think that it's funny to make fun of my cat dying and telling me to go, you know, oof myself, in a better word. And just stuff like that. And it's just really sad to see that. But that's the commons for you. It's kind of always been that way, but I feel like these days it's a little more rampant. I don't know, that's just me. Speaking of that, they want, a lot of players want revamp to the report system and the report message, because a lot of times when you get reported, it says you've been reported for foul language, and there are actually a lot more reasons to be reported on the game instead of foul language. Like, it could be harassment, or doxing, or, I don't know, just stuff that's not foul language. So they would like a more generalized message that is more in tune. And then I added that we need more customer service transparency, and I know it's going to be really hard for them to do because their customer service is outsourced, it's not actually in-source, so KingsIsle has really nothing to do with their support. They use a different company to do this, so it's up to that company to be transparent. And then there's like a little image here as a suggestion from my mod and lovely friend Crab. So if you guys would like to see that in its entirety, you can click on the link. And then again, this is an ever-evolving document, so if anybody has any, questions or concerns about it, they can message me on Discord or Twitter. So that's pretty much what I have for this document. I know I said I'd only go over it a little bit, but I feel like I kind of went a little bit longer because we all know Courtney likes to ramble in her videos. That's just a thing that I do. So I hope you guys are okay with this. It took me a long time to come up with. It took me 2 days and a lot of hours trying to convert everybody's wants and needs into a paragraph and not 10 pages. Because I don't think the devs are going to want to sit there reading through 10 pages of Twitter posts. So I kind of dumbed it down a little bit for myself and for them. Or made it just easier for them to read through. So hopefully they will see this. I know the Wizard101 devs Twitter did see it because they liked the comment on my Twitter. So hopefully that's a good thing. And hopefully we'll see some changes. I don't know, like, I'm very happy that I made this document. I think that from the feedback I got from the community, they're very gracious and grateful to me for making it. And hopefully everybody's concerns have been added to the document. And again, if you guys have any other suggestions you want me to add to the document, you are more than free to post a comment on this video and I will add them. But yeah, so there we go. I made a document. So anyways, I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. I will be back to streaming again soon on Twitch and creating videos here on YouTube as well. So yeah, hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and I will see you all soon. Bye.